Hey everyone. So I'm super excited to be here because over the next few weeks, I'm really going to be digging into success. What does success mean? Because success to one person or a successful life to one person might be something completely different than a successful life to someone else. So it really is about what does success look like to you? What does it mean to you? What does your daily life look like? And it can be anything from a dream job to starting your own career to having a successful relationship or a meaningful relationship to making a positive impact in the world. Whatever it is, it's really what it means to you, how it makes your life richer and more fulfilled. And what I'm also going to be doing is really looking at successful habits that can be used in any aspect of your life. So in your career, because yes, that's very much my focus, but it can be used in your career, in your personal life, and just life in general. But I guess a good starting point is, how do we know when we are successful? And I really like to use the idea that Bob Proctor, I struggle with that name, but the idea that Bob Proctor, I think, coined is that you can't measure success without knowing where you're starting and where you're ending. So the very first point is to have a clear starting point. So to figure out where are you starting from, and then to create a final destination. So a cute little example, I guess, here is any kid that starts any kind of swimming, sporting, running, whatever, sporting event really, and has some kind of a success rate or good feedback, and probably at some stage their dream is going to be to go to the Olympics. And yes, this is a big dream, absolutely, but it's a starting point of this is where I am and that's what I want. So maybe something like, maybe you have a big sporting dream in your life, or you want to have a new business, or you want to start a new position. Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter what the goal is. The whole idea is that you are moving, so the direction that you're moving. So you're starting at point A, you want to get to the end goal, you go from point A to point B to point C and so on, and that progression is success. And I think that's something that we often trip ourselves up about, because success, we want to immediately have overnight success, be millionaires by Monday, but it's not reasonable. So we have to set ourselves up for success in order to be successful. So having these little mini milestones and little steps along the way to get us to our success. So here's the thing though, that many people, and including myself, we have this big goal, this idea of what we want to achieve. And in my case, I really wanted to go to the Olympics. So that's why I used that example at the beginning. I was a little kid. Absolutely, swimming started coming a little bit more naturally to me. I was having success and I wanted to get to the Olympics. So to cut a very long story short, 1 year before Olympic trials, I was ranked 11th in the world. I was 2/10 of a second, I think it was, off the A cut. So I'd done the B cut, but I was 2/10 of a second off the A cut, and I quit. I quit swimming. No one could understand why I stopped. My family didn't understand. My friends didn't understand. My coaches most certainly didn't understand why I had stopped. And I came up with a million reasons, or really a million reasons of why this was just not gonna happen, and why I could justify in giving up swimming. But ultimately, it was the sneaky fear of being successful, which is just really, really a weird thing to be fearful of success. Because the more I was thinking about, if I do make it to the Olympics, what does this mean? How much more of my life am I going to have to sacrifice? What would I have to give up? How much time would I have to invest? And the bigness of what it would actually mean to have achieved that goal is, on the one hand, really inspirational and really exciting, but on the other hand, it can also be a roadblock, and it can actually hold us back from going after this goal. And then to use someone else's analogy, and I forget to use this, but I was a prime example of giving up 3 feet from goals, or 3 feet from the goal in this case. And this all ties into having a fear of failure, the achievement anxiety. But fear in and of itself is actually a really inherently good thing. I mean, it's kept us alive for all these generations. We knew way back when that if our paths crossed with a saber-toothed tiger, we knew not to go and cuddle the kitty. We knew to walk away, run away, whatever it was that we had to do then. But that fear kept us safe. So the fear this fear that we have can be a good thing if we know and understand where it comes from, how to handle it, and to embrace it in such a way that it helps us as opposed to holding us back. So if we want success and it feels good and that's what we're going after, why are we scared of success? And how do we break free from that? And that's exactly what I'm going to be chatting to you about in the next few weeks. But before we go to that, I want to mention two specific, I don't want to call them lies, but untruths that we have been told by society. It's just been ingrained into us. And the first one is the only path to success is if you go get a college degree, you get a profession, you work really, really hard, really long hours, you get noticed, you sacrifice now because the sacrifice that you pay now is going to pay off later. But if that's the case, how do we explain so many successful people, from Mark Zuckerberg to Richard Branson to Steve Jobs to Bill Gates to Walt Disney to Andrew Carnegie and countless more, who absolutely did not follow this quote unquote path to success? None of them had degrees. None of them finished their degrees at the very least. So how will we really advance our career if we are stuck doing the same thing in the same cycle, hoping for a different outcome? It doesn't make sense. Einstein's quote comes in here. Doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result, is the definition of insanity, right? So working long, hard hours, getting the right degree, the right job, does not necessarily mean success and wealth. And the second untruth that I want to touch on here is that you don't have to, or you shouldn't be forcing anything, because it will just, when it's right, it will just naturally flow. So when it's meant to be, it will be, and you don't have to do anything. But without an action, there cannot be a reaction. Without a start, there cannot be a result. So I'm not saying go out and really push hard and fight, but there has to be some kind of an action that starts off everything. And if you are here, it means you want more. You want more out of your life, you want more out of career, and you are done with just being good. You want more. So if you are feeling any form of overwhelm, any form of fear, welcome to the second half of your life. So what I'm going to quickly do is to just look into the top 4 ways in which achievement anxiety can show up. And I'm not going to go into detail on this because the intention of this really is to focus on the success, but I do think that we need to have just a very quick understanding of where this achievement anxiety or the fear of failure can crop up in our lives. And it's really 4 elements, or 4 ways. It's the fear of change, it's the fear of being unworthy, the fear of judgment, and then of course the fear of failure itself. So the fear of change, totally get that. That's a big thing. We are inherently creatures of habit. Just for the fun of it, the next time you put your shoes on, see which foot you put into your shoe first. And then the next time you put your shoes on again after that, just check again which foot you use first. We are inherently, we like our routine, we like certainty, we like stability, and we like to stay in our comfort zone. So I totally get that any kind of change is scary. It can be overwhelming. It can just hold us back from taking that first step. So just a quick side story here. I filed for divorce in my 20s. It was a huge thing for me, but for a long time I felt like a massive failure because I'm not even 30 and I'm already divorced. But the thing is, I had 2 choices. I could have stayed stuck in a marriage that was just not working. It was just not working for either one of us. It was not a good marriage, but it was something that I knew. The alternative to that was to go back into the dating field, to start all over again, to just put myself back out in the market. And that change into going back into the unknown and just doing all that over again it's scary. It's not a fun thing. But here's the thing. I could have stayed in that marriage, or I could have chosen to file for divorce, which is exactly what I did, which then led me to back to my roots again, which was back to the swimming. And through my swimming, I then met my now amazing husband. My amazing husband, I have 2 wonderful children. I'm living in Canada, and life is just, I couldn't even have possibly imagined this kind of life. And it's only because I decided to change, to break out of what was just simply not working. And I'm not knocking anybody here. All I'm saying is that it was a situation that was okay enough to be comfortable in, but it was not a good, sustainable, happy life. And the next way that this achievement anxiety can pop up is really a fear of feeling unworthy, which is a weird thing if you think about it, because this feeling of unworthy is, we go after the success because we want success, because it feels good, and we just want to have a successful life, right? So we start taking steps towards it, but then this unworthiness crops up, and sometimes we're aware of it, but most times we're not even aware of it. And this can crop up by procrastination, perfectionism, distraction, or maybe avoiding tasks altogether. And any one of these things are basically a form of self-sabotage that hold us back from truly going after our success. So the feeling of unworthiness is what holds us back. The third way this achievement anxiety pops up is by fear of judgment. Now, this is also an interesting one, because we are inherently social beings. We want to fit in, we conform, we crave acceptance, we don't want to stand out, we want to be part of the herd, because again, that stems back to our safety and where we were comfortable. So we want to be in our clique, in our group, in our tribe, whatever it is, because that's where we're comfortable. So if we come up with an amazing idea that we think is amazing, and we mention this to someone, and that someone might have just a comment, which is not necessarily even badly meant, but this comment will stick with us, and it will actually derail us and again, prevent us from going after what it is that we want. So this fear of judgment from others actually presents itself as a self-image problem or a self-image thing, because we want to fit in, we don't want to stick out. If we were to really believe that we would be successful and could do what we have set out to do, we would make the commitment and we would take the responsibility to go after it no matter what. But this fear of being rejected is so inherent to us that we really let it just take away from our dreams and to hold us back from really going after our dreams and going after what our success really and truly would mean to us. And that takes me to the last way in which achievement anxiety can show up, and that's really the fear of failure. So I've mentioned this a few times. It's very much a central theme that I focus on, and it's really easy to imagine failure. It's our default. We are so good at keeping stock of what we have done wrong, and it's so difficult for us to remember what we have done right, and to remember that and to really hold on to that. One of my favorite sayings, because it just rings so true to me, is our brains are like Teflon for the positive and Velcro for the negative. But here's the thing. If we don't feel any fear, you are playing it safe, and there is no opportunity or there is no growth. And only once you really face the fear and you embrace achievement anxiety, you can grow and learn, and your career and your life will skyrocket. So the question really is, are you afraid of success, or are you afraid of the responsibility that comes with it? So I'm super, super excited, like I mentioned at the beginning, to just really dig into success and what it means for all of us, and to just go through this journey with all of you over the next few weeks. Wishing you a wonderful day. Bye from me for now.